Hi YouTube! So I decided for my summer that I had nothing to do and I wanted to do something that was interesting to me, and I see so many people on YouTube. They have, beauty channels, and they have these things that I love. Makeup, I love hair, but I don't want to be another beauty guru. I don't know how to do that. I'm not good at like teaching people how to do stuff like that. So I was like, well, what am I good at? And then I was like, well, what have I spent all summer doing? And what I realized I did all summer was I've read all summer. Like, I've had my summer started in like the first week of May. So some people may just be starting their summer. My summer has been almost a whole month now, and I've spent almost my whole summer right now reading. I have read so many books, and I realized that what I'm really good at is explaining books to people. And what I spend most of my time doing is either going on YouTube and reading about a book or watching a review on a book. I was like, well, I can do that. So I decided I'm going to do my first review. So this is my first review video, and I decided I have to do it on a book that's a little like a bestseller or something that a lot of people know about. But I didn't want to do like Hunger Games, because I looked on like the search and I looked up Hunger Games, review. And there was like 5 pages. So what's going to make mine stand out? Nothing. And so I decided I was going to do one on a very controversial book that some people may or may not feel comfortable watching. And my book is 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James. This book has been all over everywhere. It's like on the news, it's in the media, it's in newspapers, it's being made fun of on SNL. Even Selena Gomez did a spoof on it. Like, everybody's talking about this book. And I'm not a person who like falls into the hype. Like, when it came to Hunger Games, my friend had to push me to read it, because I was just like, what is the whole Hunger Games thing? Because I was walking around the mall and all I saw was Hunger Games stuff. I'm so thankful I read that book. It was amazing. But the thing is, I don't buy into hype. But I was like, oh my god, everybody's talking about this book. I need to read this book. So eventually I just caved in and bought the book for my Kindle. So I have a Kindle Fire. So I bought the book for my Kindle Fire. It was $9.99, and I really enjoyed the book. I thought it was really, really interesting. So 50 Shades of Grey is your typical love story, girl meets boy, blah, 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 with a gigantic, epic twist. Like, crazy, kinky twist. Um, Basically, Anastasia Steele is this 21-year-old almost college graduate. She goes to WSU, which is Washington State University, and her best friend Kate is in journal, and she works for the newspaper, and she gets the flu. And Kate has to go and do this really important interview with Christian Grey, CEO of Grey is Holding an Enterprise. He's like a 27-year-old like millionaire. He's like crazy rich, and he's accomplished so much in his young years that everybody wants to know about him. And he's like this really, really hot bachelor on top of it. So she meets him, and they have a very interesting conversation, and she piques an interest in him, and he is very interested in getting to know her. And after multiple attempts to get her to finally go on a date with him, he finally gets her to agree to a date, and he brings her to his house. He lives in Seattle, and he brings her to his house in Seattle, which is his apartment called a Scala, and he introduces her. And then this is where really the story begins. This is where everybody starts talking about how it's so controversial, because Christian's world is very different than Anastasia's used to. Anastasia is this pure, innocent 21-year-old virgin, and Christian is 27-year-old, hot, sexy dominator. Okay, dominator. He has his own playroom, which he calls the Red Room of Pleasure, which she calls the Red Room of Pain. And in this room is every kinky, strange toy that you could ever think of. I mean, they have rope, they have handcuffs, shackles, gag balls, those things that go in your mouth and then go around your head to stop, blindfolds, whips, belts, canes, and all these things are used on the female's body, and it's either for pleasure or pain. And Christian likes to do both. Either he likes to give you pleasure, because it gives him pleasure, but he also likes to cause you pain. So if you don't listen to him, he punishes you and you're caused pain. And he tries to explain to Anastasia there's a very fine line between pleasure and pain. And Anastasia's like, well, I don't really know if I want to do this or not. I don't really know what I like. And he's like, well, don't be coy with me. Tell me like what you really like what you like to do in bed. She's like, well, I don't no, because I'm a virgin. He flips out at her. He's like, why didn't you tell me? I just showed you my whole freaking kinky room and you didn't tell me you're a virgin. And like, he's like, we're going to take care of your situation right now. She's like, well, I didn't know I had a situation. And her situation is her being a virgin. So his way of taking care of it is he's going to make love to her. I say make love with air quotes because that was not making love. Okay? Look, first time, never has touched herself, never has been experimented, never had a guy really. She's never even had an orgasm before. Okay? So everything about sex is new to her. And her first time, basically, he doesn't ease into her very gently. He slams into her. That's literally the words they use. He slams his body into her. Like, do you know how painful that has to be? And lo and behold, she does finish. I don't know how that happens. I don't think it would happen for me, but, let's go with whatever E.L. James wants to write. And, after that, she's like, oh my God, I love having sex with Christian. I need to all the time. So she starts conflicting herself, like, can I be what he wants? And she starts trying to force herself to do these things. And Christian starts trying to, give her more because she has this thing where she wants more from him. She doesn't want to just be a submissive. She wants more. And Christian, for some reason, he's very attracted to her. He wants to give her more. So he's trying, but in the end, one of them is going to have to compromise. Either they're going to have to continue to do all this kinky stuff and Anastasia's going to have to give up her morals and just, submit her life to pain when she rolls her eyes, or Christian's going to have to give up the red room of pain forever. One of them is going to choose, and whatever choice they make is what we start off with in book 2. So overall, the book is really interesting. It's really different. It's really unusual, but I wouldn't call it, a bad book. I wouldn't say it's demeaning to women because Anastasia has a safe word. She never uses it. So I don't call it abusive because abusive is like you don't have a choice. Like he's hitting you and you can't say no. She could tell him anytime she wants no and he has to stop. She decides not to use the safe word. That's her problem. I would use the safe word the first time he takes the leather belt across my ass. I would be saying the safe word just because no man is going to do that to me. I don't care how good looking Christian Grey is. But on the other hand, a lot of people say that it's very demeaning to women. And I don't see that. I see it's a fantasy, it's fiction, it's a book. You either take it as it is or you don't. So you either read it or you don't read it. That's up to you. If you want to read it, you read it. If you don't want to read it, don't read it. It's that simple. What my rating is for it, I give it a 4 out of 5. It's kind of confusing. The reason I give it a 4 out of 5 is I really don't like all the terms they use. Like they use a lot of terms for different toys, like a flogger and a riding crop, and I don't know what half those things are. So I'm spending half my time while I'm reading the book searching what these words are, and I really wish that she would have either described what the toy was or started to maybe explain, like realize that Anastasia is a virgin and doesn't really realize what these things are, so maybe the readers wouldn't know what they are, because I'm sorry, every day I don't walk into a room of pain, so I don't know what that stuff is. It's just a book. People are taking it too seriously. It's just a book. Relax, read the book, find out if you like it. If you don't like it, it's fine. Nobody's gonna put a gun to your head and say you have to like this book. But if you like it, you don't have to be ashamed that you like the book. We are humans. We can like reading about sex. It's okay. That's what human beings are. We have those desires. It's okay to have them. But I would read it. I would recommend you guys reading it. And if you guys like my review or you found anything I said interesting and you want to see me review the second book, then leave a comment below. And if you have any other books that you think I should read or want to review, leave that down below too. Also, just a disclaimer, I don't read erotica, so please don't leave me a list of porn-related erotica books. I don't read those. This is the only erotica I probably will ever read unless E.L. James makes another book. I don't read those. I read dystopians, I read love stories, I read mysteries, but I do not read eroticas. It's just this one book that I'm reading that's an erotica. So leave below if you think I should read anything else, and until next time, bye guys!